Welcome. Today we're sharing some really unsettling stories. These come directly from real people's experiences.
Yeah, these aren't just abstract ideas, they're personal.
Exactly. Very personal accounts that sort of pull back the curtain on relationships and, well, the secrets people can keep. It's about what might be hiding just beneath the surface, the trust we place in others.
And what's really striking is how these stories, they all touch on this deep-seated fear we have.
Which is?
The fear of the familiar suddenly becoming strange or even dangerous. Someone you know well turning into someone you don't recognize at all.
That person you trust completely, maybe think you know inside out, and then they show this other side. It's terrifying.
It really is.
We've gathered the key details from these accounts to share with you, and honestly, they might make you question things. So let's get started. Okay, our first story. It digs into what happens when a really close bond just shatters. It's about a 6-year friendship between the person telling the story and her friend Jess. They were super close all through college, even shared a dorm room.
Inseparable, basically.
Pretty much. Junior year, they get an off-campus place with a third roommate, Stacy. 3 bedrooms. And the narrator describes Jess as like the ultimate best friend, the kind you tell everything to. So spring break rolls around. Stacy and the narrator, they plan to leave on the same day. Jess has to stay an extra day for a final shift at work.
Okay.
The narrator leaves, gets about half an hour down the road, and then it hits her like a ton of bricks.
Oh no. What?
She forgot her laptop. So she really doesn't want to, but she has to turn back. She gets back to the apartment, lets herself in, calls out Jess, but nothing. Silence.
And Jess should have been there. Or maybe left for work.
Well, that's the thing. Jess's bedroom door is wide open, which is weird because Jess always kept it shut if she wasn't actually home.
Okay. That's a little flag right there.
Right. So the narrator goes to her own room, looks for the laptop, can't find it. It's just gone.
So the open door, the missing laptop, something's definitely off.
Yeah, it gets really interesting now. Well, disturbing. She's curious, so she walks over to Jess's open doorway and just peeks inside.
Okay.
And there, on Jess's bed, is her laptop. The narrator's laptop, open, right next to Jess's own laptop. Open, and worse, it's signed in, meaning Jess somehow knew her password, got into her account.
Wow. Okay. That's a line crossed. Big
cool.
one. Huge. So then the narrator looks over at Jess's screen. There's a folder open. The title is just a bunch of pictures.
Vague. Almost deliberately so.
Exactly. She clicks on it.
Yeah.
And inside are pictures of her, the narrator.
Oh, no.
And some are really disturbing, like pictures of her passed out drunk on the couch after nights out, pictures of her in just a towel, maybe in her room, maybe coming out of the bathroom. Her heart just starts pounding.
I can only imagine. That's beyond creepy. It's a total violation.
Absolutely. She immediately slams her laptop shut. Then she starts searching Jess's room like frantically. Goes straight for the closet.
And what does she find there? Her own stuff. The narrator's belongings. Mostly clothes, but some things she says were just too disturbing, too embarrassing to even describe.
Jess was taking her things, hiding them.
Apparently. She grabs everything she can see that's hers, runs back to her own room, locks the door, and just storms out of the apartment. Gets in her car, calls her parents. They're just speechless.
Yeah, what can you even say to that? It's not just a betrayal, it's pathological. It shifts the whole dynamic, doesn't it? The best friend becomes this, like she said, a sick, twisted stalker.
Totally. And by the time she gets home, Jess has already blocked her. Instagram, Snapchat, probably her number too. Just gone.
Wow, quick.
Yeah. A week and a half later, the narrator goes back to the apartment. All of Jess's stuff cleared out. Vanished.
Just like that. No confrontation, no explanation.
None. They didn't see each other for almost a year.
Yeah.
Then there was this awkward run-in with mutual friends, and Jess wouldn't even make eye contact.
Avoidance. Classic.
And this whole thing, it made the narrator remember something else. Something from way back, their first month in that apartment.
Oh.
Yeah. She'd been out, had too much to drink, woke up in the middle of the night. She heard a noise from her closet, sat bolt upright, swore she saw someone, heard someone in the closet.
Terrifying on its own.
Right. She freaked out, ran screaming to Stacy's room. Stacy went to check, but the closet was empty, and supposedly Jess slept through the whole commotion.
But now
she realizes it must have been Jess, hiding in her closet that night. And the thought of what else Jess might have done, things she'll never even know about, it just makes her sick.
Utterly chilling. That hidden layer beneath the everyday friendship.
Okay, moving to our next story. This one involves a friend named Jason. The narrator tells us Jason had quite a few issues. Insomnia, really bad night terrors, depression. He was on medication for it.
Right, so some known struggles there.
Yeah. So one day, Jason calls the narrator, really upset. He'd had this huge screaming match with his roommate. Apparently, it almost got physical.
Okay, intense.
And Jason needs a place to stay for a couple of nights to cool off. So the narrator, being a good friend, says, sure, crash on my couch. Jason shows up, drops his bag, basically spends the day playing video games. The narrator tries to ask, like, hey, what happened with the fight? But Jason just clams up, doesn't want to talk about it.
Which the narrator respected.
Yeah, he let it go. So that night, the narrator wakes up, thirsty, needs some water.
Middle of the night thing.
Exactly. So he goes quietly, through the living room towards the kitchen, passes the couch. Jason's not there.
Right? Bathroom, maybe?
Maybe his bag is still there in the corner. The narrator doesn't really look around too much, just gets his water, goes back to his room, leaves the door open, just a crack. But then, a long time passes. He doesn't hear Jason come back to the couch. He starts to get a bit concerned. Where is he?
Right, you'd start to wonder.
So he gets up again, quietly, to look around. And as he does, he starts hearing this weird sound, ticking or clicking sounds, kind of like a rodent.
Okay, that's unsettling.
Yeah. He's looking around the dark living room, trying to figure it out, and then he sees him, Jason, standing stock still in the corner of the narrator's own room, arms just flat at his sides.
Whoa. Just standing there in the dark.
There in the dark, making that clicking sound. The narrator just screams, jumps back, totally startled.
I would too. That image, someone just standing silently in your room like that.
Yeah.
It taps into something really primal. Violation of personal space.
Totally. He grabs a pillow, throws it at Jason, yells something like, what the actual hell are you doing?
Did Jason react?
Yeah, he flinched, stopped the ticking noise, and then just walked out of the room,
Well,
but in this really stiff, creepy way, went straight to the couch and just collapsed.
like he just woke up.
Yeah.
Or snapped out of something.
Exactly. The narrator figures, okay, he must have been sleepwalking. That's the only explanation, right?
It seems plausible, given the night terror's history.
Right. So the next morning, narrator asks him about it. Jason's like, what? No, I don't remember anything. I don't sleepwalk. Not that I know of, anyway.
Denies it completely.
Yeah. Jason stays one more night. And guess what? Middle of the night, narrator wakes up again, just randomly this time. Not thirsty.
Oh boy. Here we go again.
He gets up, checks the couch. Jason's gone. Again.
Okay, this is becoming a pattern.
So he calls out Jason's name, pretty loudly this time, checks the bathroom, kitchen, glances in his own room again. Nothing. Tries texting Jason's phone. It seems like it's switched off.
Getting weirder.
He shouts Jason's name one more time, really loud, and then he hears it. A sound described as a disturbing, muffled speaking sound.
Muffled speaking. From where?
From the narrator's closet.
The closet again, like the first story.
Yeah. He looks over, the closet door is open, maybe 6 inches.
Yeah.
And he sees Jason's face in the dark, just peeking through the crack. His hands are over his mouth.
Oh, that is incredibly creepy. Hands over his mouth.
Yeah. The narrator yells him, get out! What are you doing? Assumes it's sleepwalking again, right?
That's the logical jump, I guess.
He goes over to the closet, grabs Jason's arm to pull him out, and that's when he sees it.
Sees what?
Jason is holding a knife, a big carving knife.
Oh my God. No.
Yes. He looks at Jason's face, describes it as half lifeless looking. The narrator just bolts, runs straight to the bathroom, locks the door.
Smart move. Absolutely.
He's in there thinking, should I call the cops? But he waits, listens. Eventually he hears Jason go back to the couch. Only then does he run back to his own bedroom and lock that door.
That escalation, though. From standing in the corner to hiding in the closet with a knife. That feels like more than just sleepwalking, doesn't it?
That's what the narrator thought too. It didn't seem right.
Yeah, typical sleepwalking, even complex stuff, doesn't usually involve seeking out weapons with that kind of focus. It points towards something potentially more serious, maybe related to his other issues or medication, a parasomnia perhaps.
So it's like 3 a.m. The narrator messages Jason's roommate, the one he fought with, explains what just happened, asks about their fight.
Good thinking. Get the backstory.
The roommate messages back the next morning. 3 long texts. Basically calls Jason a sicko freak who needs help.
Whoa. Strong words.
Apparently, the night before Jason came to the narrator's place, Jason had gone into the roommate's room with a knife, stood at the foot of his bed.
He did it before. The exact same thing.
Almost exactly. The roommate woke up, saw him, tackled him, and guess what Jason claimed?
Let me guess. Sleepwalking.
Yep. But the roommate didn't buy it for a second. And hearing this, knowing Jason denied sleepwalking to him just hours earlier, it made everything 10 times scarier for the narrator.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because it suggests intent. Or at least a pattern he's aware of and covering up.
Absolutely. So the narrator tells Jason he needs to leave that day. Jason packs up, goes back to his mom's place.
Understandable. You can't have that uncertainty, that danger in your own home.
For sure. They still, follow each other on social media, but the narrator just faded things out. He's still not sure what was really going on with Jason with the knife. It's just this deeply disturbing loose end.
Yeah, an ambiguity that's almost as unsettling as the events themselves.
Okay, on to our final story. The narrator calls this one deeply personal and disturbing.
Setting the tone right there.
Yeah. He says he didn't have a ton of friends, but he considered this guy, Milo, his best friend. They met in college, bonded initially over, cheating on tests and homework.
Huh. An interesting foundation for a friendship.
Right. But eventually they started hanging out outside class. The narrator started opening up to Milo, sharing personal stuff, felt comfortable, even though he admits he never saw Milo as, a super high-quality, genuine guy. There was always something off.
A gut feeling.
Kind of he always wondered what Milo actually did for work. Milo seemed to have plenty of money, but was super cagey about his job, never talked about it.
Red flag number one, maybe. Lack of transparency.
Could be. So one night, narrator has no plans. Hits up Milo. Milo suggests going to a bar. Narrator drives, figuring he'll stay sober enough to get them home.
Responsible friend role.
Yeah. Milo, though, he gets, quote, blackout wasted, just ordering shot after shot after shot.
Oh.
And he starts acting like an idiot, going up to random women, saying foolish things. The narrator is just cringing, super embarrassed, even has to go apologize to a couple of women for Milo's behavior.
Awkward. Definitely not the chill night he hoped for.
Not at all. Super stressful. Eventually, he manages to pull Milo out of the bar, drives him back to Milo's apartment. The narrator's never actually been inside before.
First time seeing his place.
Yep. He walks Milo in, gets him onto the couch. Milo just passes out instantly. And as he does, his phone slips out of his hand, lands on the floor, unlocked.
The unlocked phone. A moment of temptation.
Exactly. And the narrator admits, look, he knows it wasn't the right thing to do, but he picks it up.
Curiosity mixed with that existing suspicion, right? That feeling something was off.
Precisely. He calls himself a sneaky snoop, but he just had this strong feeling Milo was a little sketchy and was hiding some things, so he starts scrolling through the camera roll.
What did he find? Anything?
At first, just normal stuff. Selfies, pictures of food, whatever. Pretty boring. But then he goes into the albums section and finds one album titled simply Girls.
Okay. Alarm bells might be ringing now.
Yeah. He figures, okay, maybe it's nudes, maybe porn he downloaded, something like that. He opens it, and it was, in his words, much worse.
Oh, no.
What he saw were pictures of young women tied up to a bed. In many of the photos, the women looked visibly distressed, crying. He doesn't give graphic details, thankfully, but makes it clear they were deeply disturbing images.
That's horrifying. Just absolutely horrifying.
He said at first he thought maybe these are just downloaded from the internet, some weird fetish site. But then he notices something in the background of the pictures, a specific blue bed cover.
A detail.
A detail. He gets up, heart pounding, walks over to Milo's bedroom door, flicks on the light.
Don't tell me.
And there it is, the same blue bed cover on Milo's bed.
So the pictures were taken there, in that apartment.
Seems like it. The narrator is just shaking, disgusted, doesn't know how to even process it. He quickly sends a couple of the pictures to his own phone as proof.
Smart. Evidence.
Then he deletes the sent messages from Milo's phone, puts the phone back on the floor exactly where it was, and just gets out of there.
I can't even imagine what's going through his head at that point.
Yeah.
Shock, fear, disgust.
All of it. The next day, he gets a text from Milo. It says, I know you went in my room. We need to talk now.
Wow. How did he know?
That's what the narrator wondered. Did he have a camera? Did he somehow check his phone logs? No idea. Milo follows up with another text.
Yeah.
If you saw any pictures, they were just role-playing pictures.
The immediate denial and justification.
Yeah.
Gaslighting 101.
Exactly. The narrator just ignores him, blocks him, doesn't say, but ignores the text. He's terrified now.
Understandably.
Then, that very next night, Milo shows up at his door, starts ringing the doorbell incessantly 30 times.
Aggressive. Intimidating.
Totally. Narrator ignores it, hopes he'll go away. Hours later, he's trying to sleep. He hears rocks hitting his bedroom window. Looks out. It's Milo calling up to him.
This is stalking behavior now.
Yeah.
Harassment.
Then, moments later, he hears Milo downstairs trying to pry open one of his windows, trying to get in.
Okay, that's crossed the line into immediate danger.
Absolutely. That's when the narrator grabs his phone, calls Miley directly, and just yells at him, "Leave me alone or I'm calling the cops, right now," then hangs up.
Did it work?
Apparently. Milo didn't text or call again after that, but the narrator, he still has those 2 pictures on his phone. He's left wondering what on earth to do next, how to proceed.
That's a terrible burden to carry. The knowledge, the evidence, and the fear.
Yeah. He doesn't know if Milo will just disappear, move away,
Yeah.
or if he'll become a target. He admits right then he was genuinely a little scared for his well-being.
Milo's reaction. The instant suspicion, the demand to talk, the immediate gaslighting attempt about role-playing, and then the escalation to intimidation and trying to break in.
Right.
That's a really concerning pattern. It screams manipulation and a complete lack of empathy.
Yeah.
Trying to regain control of the situation.
Yeah. So as we wrap up thinking about these incredibly disturbing stories, you really do get a chill, don't you? Thinking about how well you can ever truly know someone, even those closest to you.
You do. These accounts are stark reminders that sometimes, the most awful secrets are hidden right there. Behind a smile you know well, or, inside a friend's room.
It's deeply unsettling.
It is. And it brings up that difficult question. How do we navigate trust? How do we tell genuine connection from a facade designed to deceive? These stories are chilling, yes, but maybe they also serve a purpose.
Like a warning.
Like a reminder to pay attention. To notice those inconsistencies, those red flags we talked about, the weird behavior, the overly strong reactions, the lack of openness. It's not about being paranoid, but about being aware. Listening to that gut feeling when something just feels fundamentally wrong.
Trusting your instincts, but also looking for patterns.
Exactly. Patterns of deception, manipulation. It's about having tools, not just feelings, to protect yourself.
These were definitely stories where friendships became absolute nightmares, stark insights into the darker side of human behavior.
Indeed.
We really hope you found this exploration compelling. If you want to hear more true stories, more real-life mysteries, and sort of understand the psychology behind them,
Please do support the channel.
yeah, please remember to like this, share it if you think others would be interested, and definitely subscribe to our channel, Horror Docs.
It helps us bring more stories like these to light.
Thank you so much for joining us on this unsettling journey today. Until next time.